That moment when you're driving for Uber and you have to fucking fart, but you got about a 45-minute trip and you just can't fart because then you'll get fucking 1 star. I've been driving Uber a few weeks now and I've had some thoughts. I'm none of the things I'm about to discuss in this video as far as negative aspects of driving for Uber, as in shit, it sucks when you're driving for Uber. None of these are deal breakers for me, but they might be deal breakers for someone else, and you guys might be interested to know what you're getting into when you start letting motherfuckers ride around in your car and getting paid for it. So keep in mind, I am still on board with doing this, and I've had a mostly positive experience with Uber as far as the company's treatment of me and the money I make and the way they have taken care of any issues that come along the way. And I also want to go over some of the misconceptions which I've heard, because I get talked to a lot of people that use Uber, and there are some people that, for political reasons mainly, aren't very happy with Uber. And they think they're a big evil corporation that's taking advantage of workers and that we're not making any money. But I'm going to tell you roughly what I make an hour based on what I do, in addition to the things that suck. So let's get to the things that suck about Uber. Okay, first of all, surges. There are scheduled surge times, but the boost to your fare rate and your income are not that great. It's certainly not worthwhile for going out of your way to pursue. I find just being in the right places at the right time and seeing where the surges are does help boost your bottom line, but not because you're getting triple fares all the time. Because one of the patterns I've noticed as I've driven for Uber is you'll get these surges, you'll go over to the surge area, then the surge fucking disappears, and you don't notice much difference in your bottom line for the trips that you're doing during the fucking surge. For those of you who are passengers, you'll notice your fares jump during peak times in heavily saturated areas where there are more people wanting Uber rides than there are drivers to provide those rides. That's what causes rates to go up. And they do that to draw us in. We follow the little red blip on the goddamn fucking map, and we go over there, and then the little red blip turns orange, and then it becomes gray, and then eventually it's gone. And it's usually gone by the time you do one motherfucking trip. One trip, and it's gone. So that is annoying. I do not like that feature. If you want to do that, you need to lock it in for a time period, in my opinion. So if Uber wanted to improve that system, I would say, okay, a surge happens, let us ride it out a little bit. Now, I understand that that sucks for passengers, but passengers also got to understand that in order to keep the average prices low and to keep drivers doing the job, you have to have a little give and take. And when they do these surges, more drivers see that, and they come online, and they go over to the area where they're needed and provide you with quicker, faster service. If not for that, you would wait for fucking 20 minutes, hour, sometimes 2, if you just have one motherfucker working that area and you don't incentivize other people to turn the app on and go over there. So that's my take on the surge thing. It's a good indicator of where the demand is on your map. But as far as a financial motivation, like going out of your way to get there, I mean, there's some planned surges that they want me to go a couple hours away or an hour away from where I live to go do that. which I might try here and there, but the surge isn't worth it for me to go drive an hour away because I can't guarantee I'm going to have something coming back. There's probably not much going out that far. I mean, we do get long trips, but so the surge thing is more of a mind fuck than, an actual incentivized working thing. And I've been driving truck for 14 years, so I kind of know how to make money driving. And bottom lines for me on surge periods aren't much different than they are on non-surge periods. The way an Uber driver makes good money is having a lot of trips back to back, to where you're not sitting in that long, or even while you're getting a new trip before you finish your current trip is the best case scenario. And also long trips with preferably some return work. And Uber has been improving that to where when you do a long trip that's like an hour away, trying to get a little something on the way back. I've done a couple of those now and had return trips on top of it, and those pay as well as trucking did for me, the long trips. So the other thing to talk about is Uber does compensate me, I feel, for the work I do adequately. But we'll get into that in another video, because this is Things That Suck video. So another thing that sucks, and I did encounter this. Here's a picture of what a nice, lovely fucking college student who drank way more than any motherfucking human being her size should have. And I was driving down the road, and I start to notice in the mirror that she's not looking too healthy. There was a little bit of, going on, and I'm just like, oh, fuck me. And sure enough, she starts to roll the window down in slow motion, it seemed. And down the window goes, and then it's like, bleh! And of course, all on the inside, in the crevice where the fucking window goes down and up in, so every time you roll the window up, there's a big fucking smear with little chunks of whatever the fuck she ate all over the inside. And she got half of it, or 3/4 of it she got out the window, but not all the way out the window, because outside the car because she hung her head out the window while I was driving and continued to throw up. And I just, at that point, I was just letting it happen. I was just like, what can I do? And I took them to their destination, and that was it for the night. That shut me down. I could have worked another 2 hours and made a decent amount more money, but that shut me down. However, and it sucks, because a lot of detail places, they won't touch you. They won't clean your puke. They'll be like, that's bodily fluids. OSHA says we can't do that shit. So guess what? That means you're putting some gloves on, you're getting some fucking cleaning products, and you are cleaning up the majority of the mess. And then you'll take it and get it detailed. Uber does pay you for this. They do. And they paid well. But there's a cost associated to it. And guess what? They charge the rider that. And I think they should. I think if you're going to fucking throw up in somebody's personal vehicle that is nice enough to give your drunk ass a ride, that you should be prepared to pay if you throw up in that motherfucker's vehicle. They handed me $15 tip, and I can tell you, no, this was not a $15 event. I spent the majority of the next day dealing with cleaning this shit up, not to mention part of the night so that the car wouldn't smell. So Uber charged the rider $150, gave it to me immediately. So by the next day, I had a $300 day driving for Uber, which is more than I could make trucking. But at the cost of having to clean up the puke myself, for the most part, and then taking the car and getting it detailed. I have since Got a membership with Delta Sonic, so unlimited washes, unlimited interior cleanings. That car is fucking spick and span now because I can literally every day run it through the wash, run it through the detail bay, and get all of the shit taken care of. And yeah, they're kind of a little bit, shitty with how thorough they are, but as you run it through each time, they tend to catch other things they may have missed here and there. But for the most part, worth it. For it's $20 a month for the interior and $20 a month for the exterior washes, and that saves me a shit ton of work. And it also keeps my ratings up because you have to have a clean vehicle is essential, I think, for taking on passengers. But the passengers got to do their part by not fucking your shit up while they're out there with you. So if you use Uber and you're a drinker, then get out of the car. I say, hey, I gotta stop. I will stop wherever the fuck is necessary. I don't care if we're in an intersection. I'll throw the four-ways on. We'll open the door. You get out. You do your business all over the fucking street. And then you can get back in and we'll go. But throwing up all over the inside of someone's car or all over the side of someone's car is something you're going to pay for if you're riding with Uber. It's going to cost you. And it should, because it should discourage you from ever doing that again. I am all for people getting home safe and not drinking and driving. But you got to understand, these are people's personal vehicles. These aren't company vehicles. These are things that I, have to drive this vehicle for my personal life. Uber does take care of that, but it sucks when it happens because you're dealing with someone else's nasty fucking puke. Thankfully, the smell wasn't as bad. Maybe she was a vegan or something that wasn't, eating fucked up processed foods, or I don't know. But the smell was tolerable, But I got on it right away because I didn't want that to be I don't want my car to smell like fucking puke the whole time. So that is probably the worst thing that I've had. The other thing that I think sucks about Uber is the down rating system. Because most of the people, I'm highly rated. I think I'm sitting at 4.9 stars right now. But that's hard to maintain because every once in a while you get a shithead. Like the other day I had a guy that worked at Delta Sonic get into my car. And it was a little dusty because I had been running a while. And it was dusty outside and windy and a little bit of dirt had accumulated on the outside. The inside was still pretty fucking clean. And it, bare as far as I could see. And he downrated me for cleanliness after telling me about going to Delta Sonic and getting a deal on car washes and detailing. Are you trying to suggestively push me to your business? Because, well, guess what? I did. And I'm going to abuse the shit out of that. I'm going to get my money's worth of car washes and detailing on the unlimited plan. Don't get me wrong. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I already know how to take advantage of that. So I'm pretty sure I can make you motherfuckers clean my shit regularly. And often. So thanks for downrating me and forcing me to do that. So it's shit like that. You can't please everybody. You're never going to have a complete 5-star driver because there's always that one person that's having a bad fucking day and they're looking for someone to take it out on, and you're there. So you're going to have to deal with people's shit. You have to be a bit of a people person. I am able to carry on conversations with people that want to talk. I'm able to shut the fuck up with people that just want a quiet ride. I'm quick to figure out which type of person I have in the back, whether they're a leave me the fuck alone or a hey, let's chat type person, and I give them what they want and the experience they want. And if you do that, you'll have higher ratings along with having a cleaner fucking car. These are not things that you get heavily compensated for, but they help keep your ratings up and you will get slightly more rides that way. People aren't going to click on you if you only have 3 stars when they can click on another guy and have 4.8, 4.9. I personally, using Uber, have never seen a 5-star driver. like a 100% 5-star rating. These ratings also don't fall off for a while. 500 rides is what your rating score is based on. And unless you're doing full time 7 days a week, it's going to take you 2-3 weeks for those shitty ratings to fall off. So if you do see a 5-star rating, the chances are they are working hard to get those little fucking assholes that occasionally just want to take it out on you off of your rating. And just keep in mind the majority of your ratings. If you're getting a lot of down ratings, there's something wrong with what you're doing. You know, you're not providing a good service. You're not being nice to the people. You're maybe being short. Maybe you're screaming at the fucking traffic too much. Maybe you're driving like a fucking maniac. There are all kinds of reasons to get downrated, and people are not shy. They'll fucking do it. And that it's something that sucks, but it's also something that's necessary, I feel. I feel that helps keep the service quality higher. And definitely higher than some cab companies, because there's some cab companies that put shitty drivers in dirty-ass vehicles, and they're late all the time, and they give you a horrible fucking service. And in order to prevent that, Uber has this rating system in place. But one of the things that sucks is you can't keep everybody happy. Sooner or later, someone's going to get a ride from you and be upset, and you can't let it rule your life, all right? Just don't take it out on the next rider or anything like that. Just take the criticism with a grain of salt. Know what they're saying. Maybe there's some legitimate complaint they had, and you need to address it before you take the next passenger. So that's my take on that. You're going to have to be a people person, which can suck, especially from being a truck driver, not having to deal with people sitting in the cab with me. It is a change in paradigm, but at the same time, it can be more fulfilling, I feel, getting to know more people, hearing their stories, having good conversations, and, that's just how it is. Another thing that sucks about driving for Uber. Now, even though they've recently added tipping to the app, and so on and so forth, more people don't tip than do, which sucks because tips would really help out. And as much as people complain about Uber not paying us enough, I have a lot of people that ride that don't tip. Even though they 5-star me, they don't tip. Even though they say they have a good experience and they seem happy with the trip, they don't fucking tip. And it's like $1 or $2 added to the fare would move the needle significantly for your Uber drivers. So if you ride Uber a lot, tip your driver. Give him $1. $1 is fine. Give him $2. I have had really nice tips occasionally. I had a $20 tip once. And that helps. That made my bottom line, my hourly average, into the normal human being fucking range. Which leads me to my next thing that sucks. If you don't know what you're doing, you can potentially not make a lot of money driving for Uber. And it's also based on where you live. So if you live in a heavily foot-trafficked area with a lot of events or students or college or concerts or sporting events and to and from work commuters that don't want to drive to work all the time, or a heavy drinking culture, bar culture, if you live in these areas, you can make a lot of money with Uber. But you have to know where to be, and you have to know when to be there. It's not all, if you just want to do it on your own time, whenever you feel like it, you're not going to make as much money as the guy that has a dedicated place and time he puts his car, turns on the Uber, and waits for rides at. And if you put yourself in the right place at the right time, you'll get back-to-back trips, which will up your hourly significantly. Now, so far, there's been days where I've made $12 an hour. Those days are slow and involved a lot of sitting. Mainly, it was my own fault for not putting myself in close enough proximity to where the action was. So if you're just driving around aimlessly, or if you're in the middle of fucking nowhere and you don't see shit tons of people around, chances are you're not going to get as many trips as you would if you put yourself in an area where there's a fuckload of people and they're doing shit that might involve parking or traffic. A lot of people will take Uber just because they don't want to deal with traffic themselves, or they don't want to worry about parking places. So you just got to put yourself in places to make that shit fucking happen. That's part of the things. Those are pretty much the only things that I've found that really suck. As far as car maintenance and upkeep and gas, choosing your car wisely that you drive for Uber. I realize a lot of you already have a car and you might not have had the best gas mileage in your car or whatnot, or maybe your car just isn't qualified as far as cleanliness, and you're not allowed to have excessive body damage or anything either. Your car has to be in good, clean, serviceable shape, or you'll get downgraded right the fuck out of it. And as long as your riders are happy with the service you're providing, that won't be an issue. And it has to be a certain age, or within a certain age period. Your car has to be in different markets. In my market, it's very liberal. You can get a 2002. So if you find a 2002 in good shape, that's clean without a lot of body damage or rust. Rust is a no-no. Nobody wants to get in some rusty shit. If you find a good used vehicle, you can buy one in the $2,000 to $4,000 range and probably beat the shit out of it for quite a while driving for Uber and make a profit. And I can tell you, in my first 2 weeks, I've made pretty close to $1,000 over 2 weeks. It's about $500 a week I've made, and I've put in maybe 25 to 30 hours, somewhere in there. And it's all in times when I would probably just be sitting on my ass or working on YouTube or working on photography. But it's helped. I have not skipped a beat financially leaving trucking. I can choose to stop working here and there to work on other things. That is the draw for me. So that's why none of these issues are deal breakers for me, because the good is outweighing the bad for me driving for Uber. And of course, it goes without saying, one of the last things that suck is traffic. Occasionally, you're going to get stuck sitting in traffic. Your passenger's not going to be happy about it because they're getting charged for you getting stuck in traffic. Not a lot, but still, they'll feel the burn if you're stuck there for an hour and a half. And you also make less money sitting in traffic. That's a fact of life. So if you're in a heavily congested area, my advice as an Uber driver is try to get the fuck out of there, or figure out a way around it. It is in your best interest to get the passengers where they're going. You don't make a shit ton of money on wait time. You want back-to-back fares that you get in and out and get it done quickly to drive up your hourly average. If you're on an $8 fare and you happen to sit in traffic for an hour, that's going to really cut into your hourly. And then you might not even get a trip right away after that. And that's really what it boils down to, what your hourly average income is. This is before gas and maintenance and washing and all of that. But so far, I've been making a profit, a steady profit that keeps it going. And another thing to consider when driving for Uber is you're not worrying about personal gas anymore, because you're constantly filling your tank and getting paid for by Uber. These are things that you would normally be doing on your own if you weren't driving for Uber or Lyft. And I don't know much about Lyft. I don't feel the need to do both yet. Maybe we'll see. Maybe one will overtake the other. But from what I hear, Uber's more driver friendly, whereas Lyft's more passenger friendly. And they're competing, and that's good. That works. So to dismiss some of the misconceptions, you can make enough money driving for Uber depending on your market and where you're at. If you're not in a good market, you can drive to a good market. There's probably one within your area of coverage. A college city, a place to go. So, no, it's not slave labor, all right? There are plenty of people making less than $12 to $25 an hour, which is the range that I've fallen in. The lowest I've ever made is 12 an hour. The highest I've ever made is 25 an hour. And that's a good living wage. If you were to apply this as a full-time and you knew what you were doing, you could live off of Uber comfortably if you're a minimalist, which I am. And that's kind of the fact. But it can replace a lot of the shit jobs that are out there. Temp agencies in my area paying $9 an hour, even to truckers. And that's the only thing that can compete with something that you can do whenever the fuck you feel like it. Literally. It's not perfect. No place that you work is ever going to be perfect. There are going to be times that you're not happy about it, or things happen that piss you off. And my advice for those times is do what I do, and I just turn the motherfucker off. Bleep. I'm done for today. I don't care if it was an hour. I don't care if it was 10 hours. There's going to come a point where you're going to be like, bleep, fuck this. And you go home and you blow off some steam, and then you're back in it whenever you feel like doing it again. And another thing you can do is to minimalize your life so that you don't have to drive as Uber as much. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. You could work 20. You could maybe even work 10, depending on how much you downsize your life and get rid of your debts and take care of how you spend your money, realizing the amount of time you have to turn the button on to pay for the things that you want to do. And so far, I'm happy with Uber. All right. Now, for those of you who are just looking for a reason to criticize something like this, show me a better thing to do. All right? To show me something that I can work when I want, that pays me enough to do what I need to do, and I'll try it. But I have never been employed by someone that has allowed me as much flexibility as Uber. Oh, one last thing that I know that's going to suck about working for Uber. They don't withhold taxes out of the money that you are paid. So at the end of the year, if you haven't put money aside, you might get a tax bill based on how much income you made for the year. And if you made more than, say, $20,000, or depending on your household size and whatnot, that's going to be a bill that you'll have to pay. Transition from trucking, I'm not going to experience this the first year because I did have a lot of taxes withheld, as if I was making $60,000 a year. And I didn't work the full year in trucking, so it's going to drop my income level for the year to a more manageable tax base, but the taxes that they've already withheld probably more than cover that. So you're going to have to visit the tax man. You're going to have to itemize. You're going to have to keep track of your receipts for when you fuel, for when you, basically any money you spend maintaining your vehicle, you can write off in your taxes. And you got to keep the books for that, which I haven't really saved my fuel receipts for the first few weeks. I got to start doing that. But that's what you got to do. And write it all off. And you might even need to hire a tax guy to do your taxes. It might get so complicated. So that's the other thing that sucks, is the tax situation. I really wish they would just withhold it like a normal employer, but we're treated as independent contractors, which basically means you're your own business and you're going to be taxed appropriately depending on your state. So prepare. Don't just go out and drive and spend every fucking penny, because if you spend every fucking penny, the IRS is going to be all up in your ass. So save a little. It's my advice if you do this as a main source of income. But remember, I'm not an expert. I've only been driving Uber for, a couple weeks, and, I've been trucking for 14 years. So I do have a lot of perspective on transportation, but I don't really have my feet too wet in the Uber industry. So these are the things I've encountered so far. I will continue to document horror stories as they happen, or to give you my thoughts as things progress, because this is an evolving new industry that will continue to evolve as we go forward, as we move on to Uber Eats, where you order food through shit, and so on and so forth. Please like and subscribe for more motherfucking videos. You can support my channel and make me drive less Uber and make more videos by contributing to my Patreon. That's in the link below. ScottTheTruckDriver at patreon.com/ScottTheTruckDriver. Link below. Also, if you're interested in driving for Uber and you sign up and do some trips through the link in the description, I get a little bonus for recruiting motherfuckers into driving Uber. So if you want to help me grow the channel while simultaneously getting a bonus yourself and making some extra money in your free time with a vehicle that's otherwise just sitting in your driveway when you're not doing anything, then click the link below to sign up, and that'll help me out, help the channel out, and help further all the videos that I do on, lifestyle, Uber, minimalism, fasting, ketogenic diet, health, all of these self-improvement things that I'm covering, these topics that I'm doing. And of course, some entertainment and some vlogs to go with that. All of that is possible through your support, and also through just you watching and subscribing and liking and sitting through the fucking ads. So remember, I'm not an expert. I'm just a fucking asshole trying to make a buck and survive. Have a nice motherfucking day. Shit.